So there's this place, right, that's like a couple blocks from 555 Beale Street. And I bought 3 packets of ramen there. And then I bought a package of Pop Tarts. So here's the thing with being poisoned. At some level, you don't know what's making you ill anymore. You have no idea. I know I have headaches on the left side of my head that are like pounding headaches, and that I'm incredibly ill. I have cellulitis on my leg, and I have some sort of like foot condition. So I've talked about this in another video, but like the 5 key shelters gave out in 2023. Rather than give out athlete's foot cream, they gave out baby cream oil, which resulted in like, that was 2 years ago, but that means that like the illness and sick that was going around the shelters then was given to me by psychopaths that live here, that aren't in like a locked ward or a hospital. So there's people here who will what they'll do is they're in a wheelchair and their feet are contagious, and they'll wrap them in plastic, and then like they'll like rub that shit on your clothes, and then you'll get it, and then you'll die. Because once you get that athlete's foot on your foot, if you get cuts on your foot or your feet are fucked up, then you'll get cellulitis and give you brain damage, and it can give you blood poisoning. So there's people here who are contagious that should be in like they should be like like not here, right? Because like again, if you're poor, then you're in then you've essentially been assigned to a plague ward where someone we can use their illness to make you sick and kill you. So 5 Key Shelters owns a majority of shelters in the city. There's a couple other ones. The one in like I've been abused at 2 of the 3 other ones I've been at. One of which there was somebody there who smoked crack every night, and then smoked crack with like a counselor there who then abused their child by doing drugs around them, like a way of like cycling drugs and COVID through the shelter and me. The other shelter they just had like they had staff members who would be sick on what I am assuming is some sort of drug that was like designed to mimic the effects of like what they imagined Dune would be like the fucking book. Because the drug had similar effects to like if you take an LLM and you give it a chemistry set, and then you give it Arrowwood, and then you give it Dune and say come up with a spice melange, that would be what I would imagine it would be. I saw people there who had like no problems breathing, and then like within 3 months had COPD, which is like breathing disorder and sleep apnea. So at this point I'm sick. I know I have this like infection. I don't know if I'm allergic to sugar or if there's something. So I'm sick, right? Where like if I eat sugar or something and then I breathe, like my stomach acid can then affect what I breathe, which can give me breathing problems. And then I don't know if my stomach will then metabolize sugar in such a way that it affects my blood, and then it hurts my brain because I have a brain like a blood-brain barrier breakage or like some sort of viral illness. All of that's being said is that like once all that happens, you don't know if you're going to a pantry, or like not even a pantry but a store like where I use my card. You don't know if like what you're buying there is going to make you ill. So like again, I've talked about this in another video, but there's so many places here where it's like everybody knows who's in on it not to buy this one thing because it's going to sicken other people. And like it's like the secret of that store. Everybody here has that sort of thing. Like for example, if you go to the stores and like if you go to the Indian restaurants, sometimes they'll put fennel seeds, they'll put crystal meth in it. I don't know why. like if you go to I don't know. Like if you go to any of the restaurants and you order the wrong thing on the menu, it's not necessarily known whether or not you're going to be poisoned. Like I've taken pens from like I asked somebody if I could take a pen from like the register where they like write shit down, and I don't know if they dislike the poor enough to like give away pens that will make you sick. I've had that happen at banks where like if you borrow or take a pen, like they'll find pens that will make you physically ill that they fucked with in some way. And again, it's because like part of it is like all of the AI system is corrupted so that like the AI is learning from the cameras. And then that gives like a disproportionate amount of power to people that don't have any anyway. And so they'll fuck with the cameras, and then like everybody else will like try and poison or kill them. So I have all these like health problems, and I don't know if going to the store where the people seem nice and I buy the shit there and then eat it is making me ill or not. Or if it's just like I am eating things that are unhealthy because they're cheap, and therefore because of my health conditions that's causing me to be sick. Like I'm speaking quickly and it seems like I'm good at it, but like I have health problems. Like my chest hurts and my throat hurts and my head is killing me. I've had these headaches for like 2 years, and it's not COVID. It's like a viral illness that may be like being distributed by like this young Japanese kid. So one of the things they'll do is they'll go around with like different hats depending on like ideology. Like I'm in the county assistant adult program, or county adult assistant program, which is bullshit. Which is just like we're gonna like. It's frustrating because like, if you're in that program and you need money because you're homeless, you don't know if they're gonna like have people follow you and then drug you to retards. I don't know. The other thing is like once that happens, they'll follow you around with baseball caps, where each baseball cap has to do with like another way that someone is sick. And I don't know if that's just me, but like they'll go around with an angel's cap if the guy is like sick with something that can kill you, and then like do mime shit at you to tell you what it is. And they did that for this young Japanese kid on a bus who's like transgender or something. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. You know, they'll do what was it? They do the hats with the different baseball teams, and then each of the baseball teams then is like has something to do with how you're going to be poisoned or something. I don't know. Again, you don't even know if they're doing it just for the cameras. Because when someone's fucked up enough and like so part of it is like the drugs that are on the street will make you like, they'll condition you to do things because you then become like prone to conditioning from all the drugs that some of them are hypnotics or diseases that are hypnotics. It can have that effect if they give you brain damage or give you biological encephalitis. So one of the things is if you fuck with the cameras, and then cameras reward people on their phones, and then those people go somewhere else, then it can affect the people who are just like so messed up that they'll do what everyone else does based on conditioning. Like the whole ecosystem in San Francisco of like people and how they interact with each other is incredibly fucked up. So part of this is like once the trail becomes like so muddied that you can't figure out like what's killing you, that's the point. Then you're fucked because you don't know how to like undo the damage. At this point, the only way that I can like not like survive and not die is if I have like a place to myself. and I don't trust the staff members because I can't. They poison the spoons, and I can't trust them to heat the food. And if they have outside food coming in, and I eat it in front of the cameras, I figure like whoever donated the food, like if it's a restaurant, is gonna get a reward. And then, like, I've had food that's been poisoned, that's been donated, where they'll like they put out like this like red thing. So part of it is like, oh well, we're gonna fuck with you if you believe in symbolism, which makes you more likely to believe in symbolism until you give up, and then you're just supposed to like interact with the people that poisoned you as if they're equals. So one of the things is they gave me like red food or something, and I ate it, and I had horrible problems like shitting blood and like shit like that, vomiting. And then the next day they put like a rubber tube on a desk or something. So I can't trust the donated food. I can't trust them to heat up the meals because they'll like. I mean, the other thing I found out is like they have white and black different colored trays, and I don't know what that means. Sometimes the white colored trays make me sick. Sometimes I found that like the only way that you could do, like, part of it is like, okay, well, let's suppose you want to make someone sick with Meals on Wheels because like you're gonna have people cough on it. Okay. So how do you determine which trays are gonna make someone sick and which aren't? Right? So you have to give them to people. Some people you like and some people you want to poison. So they do it through the expiration date. Like if the expiration date is 27, it's like, you know, the Mickey Mouse Club. Somebody's singing and they're dead or something. So it's like, oh, this guy I don't like, so I'm going to poison his food. Another one that I found that's incredibly nasty, that the same woman has done and hasn't gone to prison over. Like I would say half the people here, both on the staff and the shelter, should be in prison. What she'll do is she'll poison one of the spoons, and then I'll feel sick, and then I'll get to the meat and half of it's cold, and I'll give it back to her to heat up. She'll give me another spoon, and then if I'm nice, the spoon isn't poisoned. And when I say poison, I mean like I eat it and I have instant headaches and I want to vomit. So it's like how is someone not running you over with their car? You know what I mean? Like how are you even like how do you get away with that shit and not end up in jail or dead? I don't understand it. So, it's a black woman in her mid-20s. It's like somebody's gonna say something, and if it's not me, it's gonna be the next guy. It's like your life expectancy is essentially none. But it's like, well, what we want you to do is be kinder and a warmer person. So we're gonna do this by poisoning you and then giving you cold meat. And then if you complain about it, but in a good way, we're gonna give you a spoon that isn't poisoned. Yeah. So like the number of ways the staff can poison you are the spoons. Oh, and there's an Indian guy here who hates technology, and so like he's incredibly good at poisoning people. But like in ways where it's like, oh, I'm gonna find something that is technological that's gonna poison you, like I don't know, like microplastics or something, and then all of your like I'll make you sick, and then all of your social media will be about microplastics killing you. So like it's coordinated with people who can control the social networks. Yeah. Anyway, the number of ways they can poison you is like, okay, the Meals on Wheels, depending upon the expiration date, the spoons. If you give them the wrong number and then they open the tray up and give it to you, I've had someone say, "Oh, you're not this number, you're this number," and I go, "Yeah," and they go, "Oh," and I figure that they've been putting other people's medications in it. I don't know if they've assigned me a medication without my knowledge and then had me like, will give that to me if I run out of food. The other thing they've done is like certain of the candy bars, like the caramel, not the chocolate, that'll just make me feel nauseous, but the caramel protein bars by like the Gatorade ones will make me sick, as will the Small Kind bars. The Small Kind bars will make it so that like I'll have headaches and I'll feel dumb. And I've seen people throw wrappers. So the other thing is they'll like have assholes tell me what's going on by like throwing garbage on the street next to each other. So like I pick up the symbolism, but then it's like I'm a dog, and then you can like, it's message passing in such a way where like you pass messages until you get tired of it, and then you just like give them bullshit. So one of them is like I'll be poisoned with the kind candy thing, where like maybe they have access to the factory or something, but it's like a Small Kind bar. And I'll feel stupid, and then I'll go down the street and I'll have stolen like a golf pencil from the library next to the Kind bar, which are like the same size. But like a golf pencil, you can't write much with, right? So, but like if it's in the factory, so essentially it's just like, anyway, the caramel ones, like if I eat it, I'll get like a stomach disorder, and then I'll breathe in whatever's in the thing that'll make it so that my chest hurts. Because I've either gotten stomach reflux or like some horrible chest infection from other people doing bad drugs. Like somebody did bad drugs here that like I'm surprised didn't kill them. And then everybody here got a cough and probably lung scarring, which might be permanent. So like, you have to take the people here who are just poor and segregate them from the people who are like ill and drug addicted, and then the people here who are like, I have a virulent foot infection that I use to attack people with, to murder them or make friends by having their feet chopped off. So like you need like, so San Francisco General has a locked ward, of which I've been to because I had a headache, and they're like, oh, you should go to talk to our psychiatrist. They have a locked ward, and I had to sign a paperwork to get out of the double locked doors, right? It has 3 secure rooms. Three of them. Now, I've been in 2 mental asylums, one of which was in as a guest. When I was in Staten Island, for which I was being harassed by gang members because I heard a gun go off in a shelter and I set 2 toilet paper rolls on fire. And I ran out of money. I was living on the street in New York in 2019 in December. So when I was being chased around by black guys on mopeds on Staten Island, I said, yeah, I need help. And so they put me in in a ward that had, I want to say, so it was one hallway. It had like 50 beds, and then like a community room, and then like a I don't know what you would call it, a kitchen, right? Like a place to eat. When I was in Indiana, when I was in Indiana, I had neighbors that were shitty. I got high in my own apartment, and then I freaked out because I was having a bad time. And I was lonely, and I just said, like, I'd like somebody to sit with me. I went to the neighbors, they called the ambulance service. The ambulance service took me to the hospital, and they kept doing this shit like, don't you want to pray to God? And I'm like, no, I want to go home. And so, like, so they put me in asylum, which is like, at that point, it was during COVID. people were more or less like losing their minds. I had guys in the ambulance like fucking with my head to see if I was like either gay or like wanted to pray to God. Just, I don't know, fucked up. Anyway, so I was in the asylum there, and it was a similar sort of situation. They had it was part of like a larger hospital where they had like the only difference between that one and the one in Staten Island for the most part was like it was slightly smaller, and the kitchen was somewhere else, so you had to have like a bunch of people like go down to the kitchen, and then there was like a gym at some point. But the point here is that those things don't exist in San Francisco, right? So you have people here who are like making people sick with their feet or like poisoning the food that need to be in an asylum. Like, I was in an asylum in both cases, one of which was to avoid gangs, which were attempting to like harass me or kill me or drive me insane. And the other was because of shitty neighbors. And because the people in Indiana are like, I don't know, you're not Christian and we're going to send you to an asylum until we can figure out why that's strange. He's not Christian and he's not gay. What's going on? Maybe that